Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test Champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro? Obviously not the best news Thursday afternoon. Well, I only got the news today, but not the best incident Thursday afternoon.
Nah, first time getting the old gloves back on, stepping out on the footy pitch, and I managed to go out there and fracture a rib. So sort of as soon as I dove, I realised that I'd done something. It wasn't just being fat and lazy. I sort of played the second game and sort of got home and thought I've definitely fucked something up here, and went to work, and everyone was sort of saying you got to go and have an X-ray. I think it was only my second ever X-ray I've had in my life, had to go back in today because they hadn't bloody read it right. So turns out was it the 8th rib, I believe it was, fracture. Not the nicest of things to find out. So it's 6 weeks off the golf course, 5 maybe if I'm lucky. 4 if I'm good. So we're going to be doing what we can, doing your breathing exercises, things like that. Hey, what are you after? Hopefully a month. I'm thinking. Maybe miss four rounds of golf. I've missed one already, miss 3 more, and then be back out there.
We might not see you out there in November, but December time.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I would have not played around the golf in November. That's probably like quite a nice time of the year where it's starting to get warm. It's not too hot just yet. You can still have those nice cooler overcast days or slightly chillier mornings.
Yeah, you still got that dew in the morning.
Yeah, so
on a crisper morning.
Bit of a bumsy, to go out there and miss some November golf, I guess, when you look at it like that. And I was playing some nice stuff there recently. So it's a shame, but I'll be behaving. I'll be resting up for the next few weeks. A couple of Saturday morning sleep-ins, which I'm looking forward to. So probably have to get out and cater you lads for a couple of those days as well. Lots of sport on though, at least, to watch while I'm recuperating.
Yeah, good time of year actually. Obviously it's our last week of rugby league for a while, but you've got a bit of cricket dripping in there. Football's in full swing. Rugby league's still hanging around.
There's a little bit of everything at this time of the year, which is nice.
Sort of a smorgasbord of sport on offer, really, which is it's good to see. Before we rip into anything, good to see the Black Caps officially becoming the greatest ever cricketing nation. Picking up a 3-0 test
first team
series. Second team to whitewash them over there.
I thought it was the first. I thought we were the first, wasn't it?
I don't know who did it first and how long ago it was. But I read something. It was the second ever time India have been whitewashed in India. So. Pretty crazy for a country of 5 million humble battlers down this way to go over there and beat the Indians in their own backyard.
Some scrappy cricket. There's no doubt about it. That third test, I don't know what day it was. Maybe Saturday or Sunday our time. It was bloody hot out there. And they were saying it was hot for India, and it looked like some pretty.
Looked like it was creeping up towards 50 degrees.
It would have been very, very warm out there at the crease, and I think that was maybe the day Mitchell was in there for a wee while and held the fort for us. So I'd imagine he probably would have lost a fair bit in sweat alone out there. I want to say day 2, day 3, one of the two there. So, but yeah. Very, very good series. Very good series for the Black Caps there. Pity the Kiwis couldn't go out there and do the job there on the weekend though.
Yeah, it was a weird one actually. If we have a look at the Pacific Championships,
sets up a pretty tasty looking final, though, I must say.
Yeah.
Australia Tonga final, I think. I think we probably put in a better shift against Aussie than they did against Aussie. But I don't think we looked too flash out there on the weekend. We definitely got caught out a few times. Obviously, still quite a few injuries and things like that in that Kiwi squad, but we should be. I mean, Tonga are a very, very good rugby league nation now. There's no doubt about it. But I still think we should have beat them. But when you see that crowd and that atmosphere, it's probably one of the most intense looking at. Not intense. That's not the right word. But like intense in a good way. Just like that crowd was outrageous.
Yeah.
When you saw them come out and then they did that Kiwis national anthem. That's possibly the nicest ever rendition of the New Zealand national anthem I've ever heard.
The choirs.
I just thought it was amazing, yeah. And then then the Tongan one as well was great. And then you hear all the Tongan fans singing the Kiwi one as well, because obviously, 95, probably more of them live in Auckland or probably Auckland.
Probably,
not
yeah.
New Zealand, we've got a huge Pacifica population, obviously. So. It was just. I think it was awesome right from the get go. It was set up for a good game, and you got it for 80 minutes.
Yeah, it was a pretty epic game. Really, it would have been good to watch from a neutral stance. That's for sure. If you're Australian, putting your feet up, watching that one to see who you're gonna face off against in the final. As you said, 25 points to 24. It was a hectic start from the Tongans. Probably, I guess, drawing on that emotion from all the crowd and the build up and that, and they blew the Kiwis out the gates early doors there. Wasn't to be with the late comeback. Obviously Katoa stung the flow on that one, but a few awesome moments. It was even though we lost, it's obviously it doesn't feel like it hurts as much as losing to Aussie or losing to the Poms.
Yeah, it's different.
Because, you don't want to be what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to be like definitely not patriotic, patronising and say it's good to see Tonga beat the Kiwis, but it is good to see the Tongans pick up a win, and
I do think now that
keep that international circuit competitive, whether or not you do look at it as the fact that the Kiwis had a pretty young team.
I mean, they're definitely in their top 3 nations in the world. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, third best in the world. Definitely have to be in the conversation off the back of that. To be up there in the conversation, I think you probably have to see really a bit more regular footy to be able to.
I think that's the hard thing.
Second, third, fourth and fifth best out of us, the Poms, the Tongans and Samoans at the moment. But
so I watched a little bit, as I was just saying before, watched a little bit of that Samoa-England game, and England definitely looked the better side.
Yeah, England did smash them as well early doors in the World Cup, and to be fair, Samoa, it was great to see them make the final, but it probably was a bit more of a freak result to see them get up in that semi over the Poms in England. Tonga's first win in 6 games actually, having lost that quarterfinal at the World Cup against Samoans 20-18, going off a little bit of a barren run after a tour of England that wasn't too successful, similar to Samoa's tour this time around, but they did manage to beat the Aussies. What was it, the year after the World Cup, or was it the same year we went to that game at Mount Smart?
I don't know.
2018 or 2019, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that we went to that game.
Yeah, and they beat Australia around that time.
So it's big, and as you said, you don't want to be patronising, but it is a big one for them, and it's obviously it comes in a good little time going into the final here up against Aussie, who's obviously won both of their games and probably didn't really have too much of a fight, I'd say.
Yeah, they look. Obviously the score lines weren't huge drubbings, but they were in control for both of those games up against the Tongans and the Kiwis. Hopefully this time around we can see the Tongans put a few points on the board, put a bit of pressure on the Australians. Maybe we see a little bit of an off night from the Australians as well. They've been pretty clinical with their chances down in the opposition 20 so far. So yeah, it's no secret we'll be supporting Tonga in this one.
Yeah, well and truly, yeah, it'll be. It takes up a pretty tasty looking Sunday night there. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, this one first is an interesting call. I guess it's it's probably a bit more prime time to get the punters along, get them tuning in on a Sunday arvo.
Yeah,
you don't want to be sitting up too late on a work night. Although they put Origin late on a work night, so who's to know what they're thinking? But yeah, Cam Murray injured for Australia as well, so a little bit of a positive for Tonga, I suppose.
Yeah,
for Australia, but still plenty of depth there. Hudson Young comes in, and they barely miss a beat there. Really, it's one gun out for another.
We saw how they played in that first game there up against Aussie, and I think Tonga are going to have a little bit more of that attacking flair sort of that we saw up against the Kiwis. But you saw it early, like you said, they scored pretty early on, and I don't think Aussie are going to be going out there and having those sort of defensive lapses like we had. So it'll be a tougher shift. It'll be a bit more similar to that first game that they played, but in no reason at all why they can't go out there and take the win on Sunday.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a huge Tongan support in this one as well, out in Western Sydney. Be good to see them have that same charge of emotion that they had last week.
It would be cool if half the crowd was red or something like that. It was pretty awesome to see there on the weekend. So we'll be back in a Tonga win, and it leaves us with that Kiwis PNG. What's that? 8 o'clock our time?
8 o'clock, 8:05, whatever it may be. The second slot on a Sunday afternoon.
That relegation promotion playoff game. So this is that one. This is a game we should be winning. We lose this.
This is a nervy game.
There's something up, eh?
Yeah. You don't want to be losing this promotion relegation game. No disrespect, but it could get pretty ugly next year if we do have to go up against Fiji and the Cook Islands for those two nations. Obviously the Kiwis, 0-2 after that heartbreak at the hands of Isaiah Katoa and those Tongan boys. PNG on the other hand, they're coming in with the form.
Yep.
2 pretty dominant wins. Obviously it's a different class of opposition.
Many probably would have been picking Fiji to be the team that came out of that little sort of trio there.
Fiji probably have more guns.
They had a bit of a shocker up against PNG in that first game, Fiji. So they were definitely the team I was backing to be involved in this playoff game. But yeah, two pretty dominant wins, and they've got a scattering of NRL players in there, but mostly Q Cup players and things like that. It was great, and so it's pretty cool to see.
A couple of blokes from over in Super League as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, it's again, you don't want to be patronising. You don't want to come in too cocky after the way the Kiwis have been playing. But you'd like to hope that there's a little bit too much class for the Kiwis in this one. It's going to take a huge effort from those PNG boys to pull off the upset of the century here, but they have managed to beat us once back in 1986, so the Kumals will be drawing upon that. But other than that, 17 wins for the Kiwis over all time, so hoping to make it 18. Haven't played them for over 10 years.
It's been a very while.
A lot of these players, maybe the first time coming up against each other, but even with the way the team is looking, with a little bit of slim pickings, lots of chat around I've seen why they are keeping Chance in the 6 when Cody Nicarima had a pretty good season there for the Dolphins. He's on the bench, but Stacey Jones is the man in charge. He's back in Chance.
Yeah, there's different. I think that and Phoenix Crossland, although I said that before after the first game, I thought he played actually quite well last week. So
yeah, I thought he also played fairly well against Aussie. We probably are missing the likes of Brandon Smith in there.
It's just not really the spine you expect from a Kiwis league team, I guess, you know?
Yeah, we've got, I suppose it's just unlucky. The injuries, Joey Manu's buggered off to rugby union as well, so it is slim pickings for the Kiwis, but yeah. Nevertheless, you'd like to hope it's a comfortable win come Sunday afternoon. Don't want to jinx it, but yeah, as you said, if something does go wrong in this game, got some serious looking into what's going on at New Zealand Rugby League if we end up in that bottom half.
Yeah, something's up there if we lose that.
Imagine that from champions to relegation.
Straight relegation. Yeah, it's not what you're after. So here's hoping we can see a big win there come Sunday. And on the weekend, it went from bad to worse. Obviously, sit there and watch that game. That was Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's Sunday morning, 1:30. So yes,
rolled in. You know, we watched that, then a bit of the cricket. You know, and so that wasn't too bad. But then roll into that Arsenal game, 1:30, and it's probably the worst performance we've had all season, I'd say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I've seen that it's the worst performance we had in a number of seasons, and yeah, it's probably a little bit of recency bias in that call. We've had some shockers the last couple of years, but yeah, it wasn't pretty. That's for sure. We didn't offer a hell of a lot going forward, and the defence, after having been so solid last year. I know it was only 1-0, but it could have been worse. Isaac, don't want to say completely unmarked there, but it's nice and easy.
It was a nice cross.
Yeah, it was a brilliant cross.
No doubt about it. It was a nice cross, but yeah, just kind of unmarked. And you're right, probably could have been 2 or 3. You know, I don't think we offered anything at all. We couldn't break through them whatsoever. And
Trossard had a couple of half chances, but didn't really do too well with them.
Did it take 40 minutes until we had a shot on target or something like that? I think.
Did we even have one in the first half?
Possibly not. It must have been pretty close to half time, I think, when they said something along those lines. And it was just there was no one that really had that go forward. I was looking forward to seeing Ranieri come on, and I don't think he offered much. He can't go out there and bag the kid when he's playing his 10th game in the Premier League or something.
Yeah, he's 17 years old, so you can't rely on him too much.
That's what I was keen to see, and thinking that might give us just that little bit of spark. But I think missing Ødegaard, that's a big thing at the moment for us.
Yeah, it's looking like a huge injury for Arsenal, which is a shame. The rest of the talent in the squad, you'd like to hope that we would offer a bit more. So yeah, here's hoping that they can put it behind them and have a big one this weekend, because it's Chelsea at the Bridge next. And although they're not coming in as the Chelsea of old, are they ahead of us now on goal difference?
Yeah, they are ahead of us.
So it's 4th versus 5th. They're coming in with a win, draw, and a loss in those last 3 games. But yeah, look, Chelsea at the Bridge. If Cole Palmer's switched on, it could be a pretty comfortable win for them, the way we've been playing these last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean it's a
we played well against Liverpool, but poor against Newcastle, poor against Bournemouth.
Maresca seems to have got the Chelsea players switched on a little bit more, which is good to see, obviously, if you're a Chelsea fan. So they have come into a little bit more form, and they're starting to play some pretty good footy. So whether or not we do see a win, and we see us, we lose, and we're out of the race already. I think that's. The only good thing to come out of Sunday morning there was that Bournemouth win up against City, but Liverpool still coming out on tops against Brighton, and so we do fall further away from the top there, which isn't good.
You have to be pretty much perfect.
Chris Wood and Nottingham Forest, though, I've seen that they are in the exact same position that Leicester were in at the point in the season when Leicester won the league.
Okay.
Imagine that if Chris Wood did a Jamie Vardy and led not as far as to the Premier League trophy, it would be outrageous. So, but yeah, they're sitting there in third at the moment, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Not cool to see that they've leapfrogged us, but yeah, at least it's not United or Spurs.
Yeah,
Chelsea have.
They're still hovering down the bottom there around 12th or 13th, I think. So, but whether we see a little bit of change now with Ruben Amorim coming in, we might see a little bit of difference.
Yeah, interesting to see what does happen there. I'll be hoping that they continue their shocking form. But back to the Chelsea Arsenal fixture. I don't know. We seem to lift for the big games a little bit more than we seem to deliver in those. No disrespect to Newcastle, to Bournemouth, but they're games based on the table at that point in time that you'd think we would be picking up the win. But this one, big game. Chelsea away, we're coming in with pretty good form against Chelsea, having won 6 of our last 10, only two losses in there as well, including unbeaten in the last 5, with 4 wins chucked in those 5 games. So coming in with good form, hopefully we can turn it around, get something back on track. Otherwise, it'll be back to familiar territory of years gone by, shooting for 4th.
Yeah, it's not where we want to be. So
don't want to be out of this title race already.
Hopefully, we can see Liverpool and City drop some points, us take 3, and just slowly claw our way back up towards that race there. Ideally. Quite a quiet weekend in terms of the old darts there, but we have seen the Grand Slam, I believe is the official name, Grand Slam of darts. The draw is announced. I think that starts this weekend, or possibly maybe Monday our time. Players are put into little pools of 4. So it's sort of like a World Cup, I guess, and you play everyone once, and then the top 2 go through into the knockouts, and you go through from there. And it's a real mixture of players. Some of the top players. You've got the top Filipino dude. He's there. It's a real variety. Two women, I think 2 or 1. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's a real mix of players. You see a little bit of everything in this tournament, which is cool. So. I do think it's this weekend that it kicks off. If not, it is Monday. But again, you're probably looking at one of those players that's been winning in the last couple of weeks. Someone like a Humphreys would say you're going to be probably pretty sure odds of being there or thereabouts at the end. Littler, Graham Price, there's been a little bit of talk recently about him retiring. And he's sort of come out and said, you're going to be stuck with me for a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came out firing in this one. MVG, obviously. So it's those usual names that'll be thrown around. But we've also seen a lot of new, or not new as such, but a few new ones, but different winners of big titles at the moment. So I wouldn't surprise me if we did see someone like Ed House or the Decker, like we've seen in the last month or so, take a win and shock the darting world there. But yeah, that's their Sunday. I think it runs like 4, 5, 6 days, something like that. So it's a fair whack of darts that you get to sink your teeth into over the next week or so, which is good.
Yeah. Any news on those Auckland tickets? Did you end up sussing anything for that?
I haven't yet, but I do believe, I got the old pre-registration. So I'll be having a look. I'll be getting on, and we'll be getting in there and shouting a few 180s and things like that. It'll be good to see. But yeah, I guess that's probably us for the week. Another short one in the off season. So as always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, a comment, a 5-star. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy whatever sport you're getting involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now world test champions.